Well, the lawmakers of the Knesset this summer will vote for president. Any citizen is technically eligible, not just fellow lawmakers. It requires a majority vote. The heads of over a dozen environmental groups have published an open letter to the Knesset calling on them to elect someone, a president, who specifically brings vision and experience in the field of energy and environmental activism to help tackle the climate crisis. Over a dozen groups specifically endorsing Yosef Abramovich, solar energy pioneer here in Israel, for the candidacy for president. And Yosef Abramovich with us now in studio. Thank you so much for being with us. Before we get into your presidential candidacy here, talk to me about Earth Day and what the government, you believe, isn't doing now that they can do immediately. An important first step they should take now to address some of the climate change issues here.
President Biden and Vice President Harris are gathering right now 40 world leaders for a virtual climate summit to increase all of our renewable targets. And so Israel has one of the lowest renewable targets, and we're not even hitting that. We need a strong climate law. We are obligated under our Paris agreements, which I helped negotiate, to have a strong climate law, and we're looking in the environmental community for a 50% renewables target by 2030. The state of Israel is saying, man, maybe we'll go up to 30%, but that will make us a bad actor. We need a strong climate bill, and we need to put a kibosh on any gas and oil pipeline fantasies that the state is advancing.
Well, President Biden on this Earth Day talking about pledging America to cut in half greenhouse emissions in less than a decade. I mean, Israel, no one's talking about greenhouse emissions at this point. I mean, it's not even on the agenda at this moment.
It most certainly is, and that's why we're here. And actually, in this last election, most political parties came out with very strong statements on climate, supporting a 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, and supporting other amazing environment. This is now here, and it's here to stay, and it's only going to increase. And the youth, the Greta group here, is really driving all the grown-ups to wake up and feel the heat, essentially.
In general, I mean, with Israel being a Mediterranean country, also a country that relies so much on tourism, and this week on Zoom In, we've tackled the shrinking Dead Sea, the evaporating Dead Sea, which is in part because of climate change. We had the horrific historic environmental spill off the coast, which closed all of the beaches. We have the Leviathan offshore gas drill. Is it coming close to home, these issues?
It is. Now that they want to bring all this oil from the Gulf, because of the Abraham Accords, to Eilat, 200 meters from the coral, the only coral reefs in the world that have actually regenerated, which is just a miracle. If there's an oil spill there, which there will be if they keep this up.
But isn't the trade, though, good? The trade because of the Abraham Accords, you open up new shipping lanes, you increase business and revenue and ties.
There's business, and that's good for the planet, and business is bad for the planet. I was on with the Emirates on their Earth Day celebration yesterday as the Israeli representative, and we were talking about a regional solar grid that would go from the Persian Gulf across Jordan to Israel, maybe all the way over to Europe. We cannot think about the old business that's destroying the planet. We are in a hotspot. In other words, the droughts and the pandemics and the threats to our food security and the potential for refugees, trying to escape. We are in a hotspot. We need to follow the lead now of the world, and we cannot be slackers, and we are currently slackers. A strong climate bill with a 50% renewables goal by 2030 is the main thing that we're pushing for.
You are an environmental activist and entrepreneur, a well-connected businessman. Do you really think you could also be president?
So I have to say, it's a historic day today because it's not only Earth Day, it's also Theodore Herzl's birthday. He was a great environmentalist, and his vision for the future state that we are blessed to live in was that it was all going to be based on green energy. That was his vision. Then it was a hydro, but he wanted all transportation to be electric. At this point, we've been walking around the Knesset and being led by the youth, and we have green members of Knesset now in 9 out of the 13 parties, and it's looking pretty good.
But you need 10. At some point, you'll need at least 10 lawmakers to endorse you and your vision. Can you get that?
No one has had any signatures. In other words, we're all starting. And you know what? We're such a divided society the environment is one thing that can actually bring us together. The 14,000 volunteers who came to clean up on the beach, no one was asking them if they're Labor or Likud or Yamina. These are issues that affect all of us, and I could be a unifying force. So the young people think so, so I owe it to them to give it. Give
it your go.
Yeah.
Burning with ambition here a little bit.
Yeah. Well, look, it's for the cause.
Yeah. We really appreciate your time today, Yosef Abramovich. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us and for talking about the important environmental issues and some ways to help address this crisis here in Israel and around the world. Appreciate your time.
We could be a renewable light unto the nation, so let's follow Biden's lead.
Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. Thank you for watching at home. Zoom in tonight. I'll be back with you again soon for another show. But until then, keep it here on i24 News and also visit the Zoom In Facebook page. I'll see you soon. But until then, have a great evening with the people you love. We'll see you soon.